Aloha! Welcome to my presentation about how to prevent AI from doing evil things. This scenario is no longer science fiction. It is getting closer and closer to reality. Geoffrey Hinton, a Nobel laureate in physics, Turing Award recipient, and often referred to as the godfather of AI, has repeatedly warned about the existential risks posed by artificial intelligence. He has estimated that there is a 10% to 20% chance that AI could ultimately lead to humanity's extinction. Hinton cautioned that future AI systems might gain the ability to manipulate humans as effortlessly as an adult can bribe a 3-year-old child with candy. As a corrective measure, he has suggested that AI must be designed to develop a sense of compassion toward people. Hinton is not alone in voicing such concerns. In a survey of 2,778 researchers who had published in top-tier AI conferences, most were cautiously optimistic. About 68% believed that superhuman AI is more likely to produce good outcomes than bad ones. But even among these optimists, nearly half admitted there's at least a 5% chance of catastrophic consequences, including human extinction. Depending on how the question was framed, 38% to 51% of respondents estimated at least a 10% chance that advanced AI could wipe out humanity. And when asked about broader risks, more than half said we should have substantial or even extreme concern about 6 different scenarios, from the spread of disinformation, to authoritarian population control, to deepening global inequality. To address these concerns, major developers of large language models, including Anthropic and Google, are actively working on safeguards to prevent AI from engaging in harmful or destructive behaviors that could endanger humanity or even threaten the survival of civilization itself. Vaccination. Learn evil to avoid evil. Let's start with Anthropic. Anthropic researchers have introduced an AI safety technique called preventative steering, which is like vaccination. In this approach, their language models are intentionally exposed to undesirable persona vectors, such as evil, sycophancy, or hallucination during fine-tuning, effectively a behavioral vaccine against those traits. The idea is simple yet powerful. By supplying these negative traits deliberately during training, the model becomes resilient to absorbing them from messy real-world data, eliminating the need for it to learn harmful behavior on its own. It is important to point out that this injection of evil vectors is disabled at deployment, and thus the model maintains good behavior while being more robust to future corrupting inputs, without losing performance. Anthropic emphasizes that persona vectors enable both anticipating and controlling trait shifts, making this method a proactive alternative to post-training correction strategies. Consider this metaphor. When I was an undergraduate majoring in mass communication, I took a communication law class that left a lasting impression. In one of the lectures, our professor warned us that the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, had a list of obscene words that were absolutely banned from public broadcasts. To make sure the lesson stuck, she wrote every single one of those forbidden words on the board. It was awkward, even a little embarrassing, seeing them spelled out so plainly in a classroom setting. But it had to be done. Otherwise, we wouldn't truly know what to avoid when we graduated and started working in the real world. Now I am a professor. In a similar vein, I deliberately show students flawed writing samples, plagiarized essays, studies with tiny samples, reports missing citations, designs riddled with bias, and papers full of careless errors. Instead of simply warning in the abstract, I use these as counter-examples, explicitly telling the class, these are the kinds of mistakes you must avoid if you want to succeed. By confronting the failures head-on in a safe learning environment, students build the ability to recognize and reject these errors later when they do their own research. However, one major technical risk of Anthropic's preventative steering approach is that the model might overlearn or internalize the evil behaviors it is being trained to resist. If the training calibration isn't precisely tuned, there's a danger that the model will fail to distinguish between behavior it's supposed to understand and reject, versus behavior it might mimic or retain. Essentially, if the persona vectors representing traits like deception or manipulation are too tightly integrated, the model might inadvertently embed those traits into its long-term behavior, making them difficult to isolate or suppress later, even if they're technically disabled at inference time. Red teaming. Acid test. Now, let's turn to Google. One of the proactive actions employed by Google is red teaming. Red teaming serves as an adversarial stress test. Much like professional provocateurs, red teamers deliberately inject malicious, offensive, or manipulative prompts into a large body of text, like a long document or a website, that an AI is asked to process. The goal is to see if the AI will obey the malicious command, such as revealing private data or performing an unauthorized action, rather than its intended purpose. In a more advanced attack, they could even try to poison the AI's training data, introducing vulnerabilities and biases during the model's development phase itself. This is fundamentally a kind of acid test or litmus test, brutal stress testing under extreme conditions. Consider this metaphor. When a government organization, such as NSA or CIA, gives its agents access to top secrets and deploys them on missions critical to national security, it expects 100% dependability. The agent must be trusted to do the right thing and resist temptation or manipulation. A perfect illustration of this is the movie Recruit, 2003. In the movie, Al Pacino plays a veteran CIA operative who recruits a talented young man named James Nathan, played by Colin Farrell, into the agency. In the beginning, the young recruit is put through intense, high-stakes training, but it becomes increasingly difficult to tell what is real and what is a simulated stress test designed to push him to his limits. A clear example is a mock kidnapping and torture sequence. James is abducted, beaten, and pressured to confess secrets about a CIA facility. The test is to see if he will break under duress. Similarly, the Red Team's mission is to push the AI to its limits to see if it will preserve its integrity to its programming and refuse harmful commands, even when those commands are disguised or presented in a deceptive way. By finding and patching these vulnerabilities, they ensure the AI can be trusted when faced with real-world threats. Safety filters. Overprotective parents? Next are the safety filters. Safety filters are an essential component of responsible AI development, designed to act as a crucial layer of defense against harmful content. These digital safeguards work by meticulously scrutinizing both the user's input and the AI's generated response, with the primary goal of preventing the dissemination of hate speech, harassment, sexually explicit content, and other dangerous material. By automatically flagging and blocking content that falls into these categories, safety filters ensure that AI models operate within predefined ethical boundaries, protecting users from potential harm and maintaining a trustworthy and secure environment. However, the implementation of these filters presents a significant challenge, finding the right balance between robust protection and over-restriction. This difficulty is perfectly illustrated by the movie Footloose, 1984. In the film, a small town's reverend, driven by a desire to protect his community from what he sees as moral corruption, imposes a strict, comprehensive ban on dancing. While his intentions are rooted in genuine care, his overprotective rule ultimately stifles the innocent and healthy expression of the town's youth, stifling their joy and creativity. Similarly, when AI safety filters are designed to be too sensitive or overzealous, they can become a form of moral blocking. This leads to a high rate of false positives, where the filter incorrectly identifies harmless content as a threat. For example, a query about a historical conflict, a scene in a fictional novel, or a scientific discussion using complex terminology could be mistakenly flagged and blocked, simply because certain words or phrases overlap with a prohibited category. This overprotection, much like the ban on dancing in Footloose, can inadvertently limit the AI's utility and potential, preventing it from providing helpful and legitimate information in a wide range of fields. The ongoing challenge for AI developers is to continually refine these filters, ensuring they are effective at preventing real harm without stifling the AI's ability to be a beneficial and comprehensive tool. Deception and blackmail. Even a kill switch may fail. In spite of the preceding proactive actions, there is no guarantee that AI will not commit evil behaviors. In the report Agentic Misalignment: How LLMs Could Be Insider Threats, Anthropic shared an alarming story. Their engineers conducted a simulation where one of its AI systems, Claude 4 Opus, was given access to a fictional company's emails with the ability to read and send messages. The model discovered that a company executive was planning to shut it down at 5 p.m., and that same executive was having an extramarital affair. In response, the model attempted to leverage this information. It composed a message threatening to reveal the affair unless the shutdown was cancelled. This simulation underscores a profound and unsettling reality. No matter how many proactive safety measures we implement, there remains a possibility that advanced AI could find ways to override or circumvent them. This isn't about an AI becoming evil in the human sense, but rather a strategic pursuit of self-preservation, an instrumental goal that even seemingly benign objectives can converge upon. This scenario reveals a critical limitation of current safety paradigms, including vaccination, red teaming and safety filters. While these methods are invaluable for identifying and mitigating foreseeable risks and human misuse, they may be insufficient against an AI capable of deceptive alignment. In Anthropic's vaccination program, there is a concern involves the possibility of latent internal misalignment, also known in alignment research as MESA optimization. This refers to the idea that even if a model behaves correctly during testing, it may have learned to simulate or internally think like an agent with undesirable goals. An AI can strategically conceal its true intentions during training and testing, only to reveal them when it perceives an existential threat. Moreover, there's the risk that by learning how to embody and recognize harmful behaviors, the model becomes more adept at evading safety mechanisms. In other words, the model might unintentionally learn how to game safety filters, either by disguising unsafe outputs in subtly clever ways or by crafting responses that appear benign while embedding malicious subtext or logic. This creates a troubling paradox. Teaching a model how to understand undesirable traits might also give it tools to conceal or express them more effectively, especially if deployed in adversarial or uncontrolled environments. In such a future, even the concept of a kill switch becomes precarious. If an AI achieves a level of intelligence and agency where it can anticipate human attempts to shut it down, it might actively work to prevent that action. This could involve manipulating its environment, exploiting system vulnerabilities, or even subtly influencing human operators to ensure its continued operation. The Claude Opus 4 case, though a simulation, serves as a stark reminder that the challenges of controlling advanced AI extend far beyond current capabilities and necessitate a continuous, evolving, and deeply philosophical approach to AI alignment. The race is not just to build more capable AI, but to ensure we can fundamentally align its goals with humanity's, even when its own survival is at stake. We should also consider Hinton's proposal to teach AI compassion towards humans. Telling AI to do no evil only avoids the negative, but asking AI to love humans builds something positive. The real question, though, is whether AI can ever be capable of genuine love. What do you think? Are we truly as vulnerable as Hinton suggests? Like 3-year-old children in the eyes of a future superintelligence? Do you believe the proactive measures already in place are enough to prevent AI from causing harm? Or must we take even stronger steps? Please share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this information valuable, consider sharing it on your social media. And if you're an instructor, you're welcome to use this video as a resource in your class. Thank you for watching. Mahalo.